Welcome to Mind Map with me. Today we'll be going over inflation. So first we have our Consumer Price Index, also known as CPI, which is calculated by cost of market basket in a year over a market basket of a base year times 100. So for base year 2016, we had 10 Decathlon shirts that are worth $10 each, and in 2017, the 10 shirts costed $15 each. We would do 15 times 10 over 10 times 10 to get 150 over 100, and we'll multiply that by 100 to get a CPI of 150. So the CPI in 2017 would be 150, and the CPI in the base year of 2016 would be 100, because the base year CPI is always 100. Now if the CPI had been less than 100 in 2017, we would have something called deflation. That's when the price of the economy is falling. But in this case, the CPI increased, so we have something called inflation. And if the inflation later on starts to decrease, and it goes from, for example, 5% inflation to 2% inflation, we'll have something called disinflation. Now, in the business cycle, we have peaks and troughs. As we go from a peak to a trough, we go to a recession, and that's when inflation decreases. But when we go from a trough to a peak, we have expansion, and inflation will increase. Let's see who are the winners and losers in inflation. First, the people who have fixed repayment plans are winners because they have strong money and then they give back weak money in inflation. Additionally, the retiree with the cost of living adjustment, also known as COLA, is a winner because as inflation increases, their cost of living adjustment will allow them to match the inflation rate. Similarly, if a retiree has a fixed payment without the COLA, they'll be considered a loser. And people saving money will be considered a loser because that same money that they might have saved a while back is not worth as much anymore. Now, if the inflation is greater than the expected inflation, debtors will be happy because they paid less than they actually needed to. Thank you for joining us today in our Mind Map with Me Inflation Edition.